So John, we are now with you for your keynote speech.
Okay. So it is absolutely wonderful to be here. Thank you very much to Art of Change and to Lafayette Anticipations. The good news is I do need 20 minutes. Sorry, Alice. I can't do this in 15 minutes. I really just can't. Okay, so I better begin. So I am going to do a quick overview of my my work historically. I'm going to segue into a work that was commissioned by Los Angeles County Museum of Art, which is called Spirits. And I'm going to end by performing those spirits from my phone. Spirits is a phone project because I propose here that if we don't take on the network now, we're going to lose. And I say that quite seriously. We have to really think about place, we have to think about geography, and we have to think about network. We have a lot of kids. When I say kids, I just mean like the next generation. On their phones, you may not like it, but if artists don't go meet them there, we're going to lose a lot of purchase upon cultural spaces. So this presentation pivots around the idea of place and network, but I'm going to start here with probably my best known work, which is called Western Flag. I'm going to go really fast, so I apologize. Okay, so as I said, this is my work, which is called Western Flag. I really always begin here. This is called the Lucas Gusher. It is the first major oil strike in world history. It happened in 1901 in Texas. And 100,000 barrels of oil were released from under the earth that day by a wildcatter called Lucas. That's 1901, that's 1902. One of the extraordinary things about the teaching of history of the 20th century is that we learn about violence. We don't learn very much about energy. So that's 1903. Of course, transformed transport, transformed agriculture, transformed war. Oil is the great driver of modernity, as we know. Add in the Haber-Bosch process, which produced both explosives and fertilizers, you get scenes like this. This is the First World War, driven by nitrogen. This is the Dust Bowl, driven by plowing up the Midwest of America, both petroleum ecocides. Petroecocide is something we really need to talk about, because the third one's coming right now. We need to know more about these pictures of the American Dust Bowl. These are very important pictures, and they're under-known. I'm really interested in these pictures. So Western Flag a little bit begins there, but goes somewhere else. This is the strike, which was exhausted, which is a good word, by the 50s. That's what it looks like now. It is a post-oil scene, damaged, just a weird place. These are wooden barrels from the 50s that are just collapsing on the Texan landscape as capitalism moves along by. We are witnesses on this landscape. We head in, we rebuild the scene by hand as a virtual portrait of itself. That is the process that I'm involved in as an artist. And we then bring those portraits into what's called a game engine. If any of you play virtual games, it's the same technology. I propose that the engine is the key medium of the day, which I'll talk about a little bit more later on. So we build a stage, we populate the stage with props, and here is the big difference between historic media of the 20th century, contemporary media of the 21st century, which is data-driven. Game engine model simulation. We use physics in my studio. We work with physics. We don't work with animation. That's quite a difference. So we look at subjects like hot gas under pressure moving through air. We look at volumetric smoke simulations, and on that basis, we build 365-day solar simulations that can never repeat. So a lot of people would think that Western Flag is a film. They're critical of it because they think that I'm releasing a lot of carbon dioxide. It is a simulation, just to hands up, I promise. So here it is again. It is considered, my proposal to you is that this is a flag for what could be considered the carbon dioxide legacy of the 20th century. When you burn oil, you release carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is invisible, so it can be denied or ignored. But it will change everything going forward. It'll also dissolve the nation state, as we are witnessing in real time in places like America and all over the world. So this was commissioned by Channel 4. I'm not sure if we have sound, but it doesn't really matter. It was a television intervention seen Earth Day 2017 by about 10 million people. So this is network. This is transition to network for me. Television, Channel 4, UK, Earth Day, cut in a couple times an hour over 24 hours. So cut in hard into TV across the country. Everybody freaked out because they thought it was an ISIS flag, whatever that was. And then they hashtagged it, just so we didn't have mass panic. Anyway, it was a proud moment for me, and I'm still pretty proud of it. So one day on television, a couple of times an hour for 24 hours, also as a major LED wall in the world. Now, I believe in these technologies in the world because you put worlds within worlds, virtual worlds within real worlds. Somerset House in London for 1 week. Note there's no frame on the light-emitting diode wall. The real and the unreal sit very close to each other. And now it was picked up, Western Flag was picked up by the interweb, and it was shared all over the world, particularly in protest against Trump, when he came in and he began sort of kicking stuff around and doing whatever. So it became kind of internet famous. It detached from me as my name, which is fine by me. It became a kind of a weird art meme, which sort of outgrew me, and that's fine. But it also went to the west coast of America. This is Desert X near Palm Springs. Again, an LED wall in a kind of absolutely magnificent setting as part of Desert X. Here you can see that. It came to Madrid, Climate Change Conference, where we did a wonderful series of events with Art of Change 21, but this was presented by Francesca Thyssen-Boromizza, who owns One Edition. One Edition is here in Paris in the Pinot collection, just to also mention that. In front of this piece, I met the most wonderful person, who was Uli Lucy, who has been mentioned earlier today, who sadly passed last year. So we miss him. And he said to me, in front of this work, the ocean is burning. So I made for him a piece called Flare, sited near Tonga, which is an alarm for the burning present. A flare can both be burning gas from an oil platform, but it can also be an alarm, a flare calling for assistance. I released a flare, a distress flare. So this is a distress flare for a hot ocean, which is threatening Uli's indigenous homeland, imminently threatening it. Here it is at the University of Glasgow as part of Climate Change Conference 2019, presented by Art of Change 21. Thank you, Alice. Miraculous event. It's not easy to get these things up, and it's quite expensive, as the wonderful artist earlier pointed out. We need our friends and our allies, so thank you. And Uli was brought by the British Council, or came with the British Council, to use a less active term. And he came and he spoke in front of the work to speak to the press about the burning ocean, but he also produced an absolutely beautiful performance, which I just describe as the word no. And wearing his ancestral bark tunic, which he painted himself with an infinite sign, he performed this very, very beautiful performance, which I'm still pretty moved by. Okay, actually, we have to stay on that for a minute and just remember Uli. So, Standard is the last of the triptych, and this is the most hopeful of the triptych, and it is a flag for a shared common atmosphere. The atmosphere is a dump. We dump all our waste in it, and we do it globally without any thought for anybody else. And it is a common area. So this is a water vapor flag which asks the atmosphere, which has no national borders, it has no color, what can we do to take care of it so that we take care of the next generation? This was shown at a beautiful exhibition in the Hayward, Dear Earth 2023. Has been in different sorts of places, but and these I invited a group of kids to come, stand in front of the work and talk about their hopes for their futures. So, a little aside, this work will be shown in a triptych for the first time in Art Basel this year. Art Basel have opened a new section which is called 010, which means Art Basel is paying attention to digital art, which is, you know, timely, weirdly timely. I've actually been showing in Art Basel for 20 years, so I've been a kind of interloper. I've been a sort of, you know, hidden, you know, digital artist, and I've been hiding under the carpet. But now actually all the other digital artists are coming in who are considered completely disgusting by the rest of the fair. But it is happening, so just watch that space. That, however, is place. It's geography. Everything I've shown you is geography and place. It's all quite isolated. This intersects, I'm not going to go into it because I'm 8 minutes in and I haven't even got halfway through. 010 art token is great. Just watch that space. This is all coming down the line, okay? I'm not going to go into it. Phone. I'm going to end this this lecture, by performing the work on my phone. I want to propose we have to start talking about phones culturally. They are hyper-dominated by major companies that are quasi-indistinguishable from nation states and quasi-indistinguishable from non-state actors. Artists need to talk about phones. They're not disgusting. They are a superpower culturally. Let's take them on. Let's talk about that. I'm really interested. Anybody wants to talk to me afterwards, I'd like to talk to you about phones. Network. Kids are on the network. I call them prismatic kids, borderless, neurally through touch screens. They have been connected through networks for like the last 15 years. It's a very interesting phenomenon. Very quickly, Petronational, my first movement into that space using WebGL, which is a game engine in the browser as public art. It is actually in the Pompidou, which is wonderful, but not enough time to talk about that. Okay, 9 minutes. I told you I needed 20. But I'm timely, I don't run over. Spirits. So Spirits is the project which has been wonderfully commissioned by Los Angeles County Museum of Art, their Art and Technology Department, which is one of the sort of visionary sites where Joel Foray and Michael Govan, who is one of my great supporters in the world, they summon artists and they match them with different sort of entities and energies to empower them, as Art of Change does. And as our artist earlier talked about, you know, artists need support. And so the Art and Tech Lab gives people support to do things. So, sorry, apologies to throw this image to those from LA, but this is the Pacific Palisades fire of last year, 2025, which to me, I find it very hard to process and accept. It is unreal. And what is curious about this scene is if when you compare it with Grand Theft Auto, they are a little bit hard to distinguish. That is the Pacific Palisades fire, that's Grand Theft Auto. Pacific Palisades fire happened in the wealthiest city in America, one of them, in the wealthiest city on earth, and no national emergency was called. I can't process that, it's still a mystery to me. Anyway, I call the whole thing climate unreal. I think we're entering an area which I just titled Climate Unreal because one of the most popular game engines of the moment is called Unreal Engine. And so I'm just getting disorientated. Happily, I've got a very good psychologist and a psychiatrist, just to announce. And boy, do I need them. Okay, so here is me with my husband in Carpathos. We're walking the shore and I just find it hard. I just find this scene really hard because I'm so ashamed of it. So plastic is an infernal material which cannot break down, it cannot perish. So it builds up in our world, and it's just this incredibly ridiculous material. But within it, I kept finding these things, these lost shoes. And I started collecting them over the last years, and I called them spirits. So I'm ashamed to admit, several thousand spirits now. But I've collected them from the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic, the Mediterranean, and many oceans. And they are sort of weird, tender things because we don't know where they came from. What I do know is they're made from plastic, which is an imperishable object, which is very dangerous. It will disintegrate and return to hurt us, if not kill us. So spirits has all these resonances within them. Here they are piled up in my studio, which is in the world. I always say to people, my studio is on the earth. And I'm using something called Gaussian splats, where you take pictures of these things, train an AI neural network to make a kind of a data thing. This is a special setup that we've done to do this. This is a multi-take training set for a neural network. We're responding to 24 spirits from all these oceans. We're mapping them to these solstices. And then 4 days of the year, on these solar days, we take over the front page of LACMA for 24 hours. So we have been given the front page of the museum for 24 hours. So I'm going to jump and demo spirits for you. And we don't have any sound, do we, from the computer? No, it's going to be a surprise. Okay, it's fine. No, it's okay. So I'm just, okay, you know, it's good. I'm going to do it silent. I'm just going to keep you guys waiting a little bit. Okay, so can you guys see that? Okay. So this is what's called a Gaussian splat, and it is not a photograph, it is a data thing, okay? So I'm gonna give you a tiny little, little kind of whiff of the soundtrack. And I'll give it to you fully. So this looks cute, but it's not. Nothing cute about this thing. This is a lethal thing. It's a disguised thing. Like fundamentally, plastic is a disguised form of solidified petroleum. And if we touch here, what I'm trying to do within what we call function crafting is I'm trying to get a group of kids to identify that when they purchase something like this, they're purchasing gasoline, solidified petroleum, which is disguised. There's no end-of-life planning whatsoever. And this is a lethal thing that they simply shouldn't purchase. And they have to ask, I call it the power of the purse. They really have to ask people to make better things for them so they have better options, such as seaweed-based trainers or bioplastic-based trainers. So I'm going to perform the soundtrack for this a little bit later. But for now, this is just a little reveal of the spirits and their languages. Now notice that there is iridescence on the surface of the work. I'm interested in iridescence because oil is, of course, ancient sunlight, and ancient sunlight is complex, deeply complex, and it's not inherently bad. We're just addicted to it, like we're serious oil users, and we need to go to therapy. So, getting to the idea of the phone, this is the key cultural space of our day, I'm afraid. We can tell stories in other sites, but this is one of the key places where consciousness resides right now. Kill me afterwards. LACMA. So very, very quickly, Los Angeles County Museum of Art, I am only presenting my work in the browser. It doesn't exist in the building. That was my choice because I want to deal with network. Nonetheless, LACMA said, what you want to do? I said, I want to do a launch. June 21st, summer solstice. So here is the extraordinary Peter Zumthor new LACMA. It is an enormous investment, $750 million. I think of it as a serpent, a concrete serpent which is wriggling across Wilshire Boulevard with its belly full of 5,000 years of culture. And underneath you have the La Brea tar pits. So you've got the serpent, which is cultural and cosmic. Underneath you have ancient sunlight, and in the middle you have this incredible area which I call a rave environment, but it's also known as the Geffen Commons. And look at the name, the Commons. Very, very beautiful. I think Michael Govan really is actually kind of got a shamanic turn to him, but I haven't told him that yet. Maybe he doesn't know it. So we are inviting 2,400 dancers with an emphasis on 16, 17, 18-year-olds to come to a free event, June 21st, summer solstice. You come in, that's our performance site under the Geffen. On arrival, you are given a free gift, which has been supported by an anonymous donor. On the front is the word Ishka, which is my indigenous language for water, which also means life, and it's a prismatic vessel. So it is prismatic. I'm very interested in this idea of prism. Here it is, it's the only receptacle for either water or fruit juices on the site. There's no bins on the site because on this earth you cannot throw anything away. There is no away on the earth, so we need to learn not to do that. So this is a precious gift for 2,400 people, addition of 2,400 in the history and tradition of the multiples of Joseph Beuys. Vivan is down there, who has worked on the production of it. It's embroidered into a holder, into an embroidered holder, so you can dance with it when you finish drinking. So we kind of just want to say to the kids, like, you're here, you're safe, we're going to take care of you. This is a generous environment. This is not a hyper-capitalist environment. This is an artist-designed social environment. Here is our graphic, which is a historic solar wheel. You know, the earliest sign for the sun, pre-Christian, going all the way back to Neolithic, Paleolithic, and the arrow says, come in, step in. Now, very, very briefly, because I'm at minute 18, we have, you come in past the rivers, where we're going to lay out a prismatic body as a sort of a set of sustainable options. We've got a dance floor, solar bar, no alcohol. Alcohol has done a lot of damage to indigenous peoples globally, including in Ireland and elsewhere. No alcohol, no ethanol at this event. A place to relax and a place to say goodbye to the 20th century. This is the prismatic table emerging, prismatic table where you can, you know, choose different options. That's dance floor, dance floor, dance floor. Too much information, too much information. This is important. This is very heartfelt for me. You know, in dreams, one experiences death as a river, and you pass the river. So, and in the world, I'm finding these things which I call embers. And this is an ember in Carpathos of a woman holding what she calls a Lazarus bread, but it's actually infinity bread. This is an Irish solar cross called a St. Bridget's cross. So Christianity sucked all this stuff up, but it's like much, much older. These are folk memories of much older systems. This is Bassiani in Georgia, which is an iconic techno club. Again, an ember of earlier systems. Incredible environment. Prismatic table. This is the boat for the 20th century. The kids have to come, they have to say goodbye to these systems. These are lethal systems. They will kill you or your children. So the time has come. It's over. We dance our goodbyes with love and gratitude. So, with no further ado, I'm going to finish by doing my little demo. But that's the flyer, just in case anybody wants to come. Okay. And actually, I'm going to be overseen by this crazy bird. So, 21 minutes. So, as I said, as I promised, I'm going to perform this from my phone. But this is actually kind of a snappy phone, So this is a fold, a Google fold. And so you can open it up. Do you want to swing that around? I can shout. Should I shout? It's fine. I can shout. It's a small room. Okay, so this is a... Okay, maybe I don't shout. Okay. Can you guys hear me? It's wonderful to be here tonight. Okay, so this is a Samsung Fold. Also, Google are doing them, and it's kind of a kind of beautiful new thing. And I know there's problematics around technology and sourcing and mining. I get that. Okay, we can talk about that later. But this is just what's going on. I mean, there's like 8 billion of these in the world. So, like, what are we going to do right now? I mean, I get it. So we'll talk about it a bit later. Okay. This is a Nike lethal thing sold as disguised cotton, disguised rubber. None of that is cotton, rubber, whatever. It is, oh yeah, we have to finish. This is all oil. So I'm just going to touch, and we're going to, yeah. My Bluetooth's up. 1 second. So I forgot to mention that we have a dance track embedded in this work, okay, which is called Peak Oil, that we're releasing this summer because I really don't want to miss the kids. And I think if it's silent, it's not going to work. So the last thing I'm going to do is just perform the work, okay? So you build the track by touch. This is called tone.js. Can you guys see it? Can we maybe kill the projector? So I'm building the track. And that's it. Thank you, guys.